was the Trump administration and the example that they are setting for young professionals who choose to work in government, where, as we're all familiar, whether you're an attorney or uh, or any other profession, and you choose to work for government, you often make a trade-off where you could make substantially more money in the private sector, but for all sorts of reasons, whether they're altruistic or otherwise, you choose to join the government, and maybe it's patriotic. Now, time with the Trump administration, what are mid and higher level operatives in the organization, Trump administration learning? They're learning that corruption is a feature, not a bug. That is one way that you can entertain yourself while you're involved in government is to make deals to provide access to others, to the White House, and to the levers of power that are the U.S. Government. I was reading a little bit about David Sachs, who is not a co-founder, but one of the, I guess he was chief executive or close to at PayPal back in the bad old days, and he was there with your boy Elon Musk, the nation's number one Doge bag, Peter Thiel, and some other individuals, many of which went on to tremendous success in business. Some of them much more limited success as human beings, as perhaps with Mr. Musk. But that was what they refer to as the PayPal mafia. These gentlemen. They, fun fact, David Sachs, and some of them have also either written or had written on their behalf, like Donald Trump, The Art of the Deal, and Mr. Schwartz, books complaining about the dangers of wokeism or diversity in all walks of life, and to think of Elon and David Sachs preaching anti-wokeism and anti-inclusion in their South African accents, and perhaps join in Peter Thiel, another one of the originals, the OGs of PayPal, the mafia, who went on to tremendous success as well, originally from Germany. And to hear them preaching, three powerful white men with those accents, which you'll forgive me, have troubling echoes in the accents. If you are a Jew, if you are a person of color, yeah. So that's a bit of a side note. You could put that in the category of maybe that's just me. But if you ever watched Lethal Weapon, when the South Africans, oh well, for another day. Um, it doesn't mean that everybody in the Trump administration or in the Republican Party is corrupt, but permission structure. I know we're all getting a little bit tired of that expression, permission structure, because it's a little bit squishy and overly vague and overused and kind of kind of probably needs to be retired or at least replaced. But when Donald Trump and certainly his sons, the elder two of them, much more, will give young very tall Barron, a break, are using their position in government to enrich themselves and their families, that might fit the traditional definition of corruption. I would say that it does. Other people might have differing opinions on that subject, but it's corruption. And so our president is showing himself to be permissive in the areas of corruption by example. He is saying, by deed, if not by word, this is okay. I am going to pardon CZ, the founder of Binance. He served, I don't know, I think he had a 4-month sentence. He had a $4 billion fine. Just because the fact that you pay a $4 billion fine doesn't really say you were guilty, but it certainly doesn't say you weren't. So CZ, as you'll recall from earlier sessions, is the gentleman that also facilitated the funding of Hamas, ISIS, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and other terrorist organizations. Corruption, bad judgment, who's to say? CZ also was the gentleman that put upwards of $2 billion of seed money into the Trump organization's crypto business. Investment? Corruption? You can decide. So back to David Sachs. He is, his official title is very long, but he is essentially the AI and crypto czar for Donald Trump. And their relationship goes back at least to 2014, where he served a similar role in Trump 1.0. For your consideration, Mr. Sachs has investments in more than 400 companies, ventures or otherwise, that may have business before the U.S. government. Does that mean he is corrupt? It does not. But the appearance of corruption used to mean something. That was the reason that government officials would place their assets, their stock portfolios in a blind trust. And what that said to the constituents and the electorate, they're not saying, I'm not embarrassed about having been successful. I'm coming to government at a reduced salary to work for you, citizen. But I'm putting my businesses, my portfolios in a blind trust to be managed by others while I'm in the service of the government, while I'm in service to you, dear constituent. And that means that I will not be subject to, or I will not, undue influence will be less of a concern. There's lobbying. There's influence. We're all, some of us are well over 21 and we know how these things work. That's just a part of doing business. Lunches, things like that. Bibi Netanyahu essentially announced over the weekend that he isn't asking somebody else he's asking for a pardon He's the prime minister. He went to the president and he gave him a long letter and he said, you know, I think you should pardon me because it's better for Israel. It'll let me get on with the business of governing unencumbered by these charges that are based on irrefutable evidence. It was I haven't fully digested. I haven't read the letter that he sent to the Israeli president, but that should be a fun read, and I'm sure I'll have something on that later in the week because Bibi Netanyahu, of course, like Donald Trump, uh, is an almost endless supply of material in one human being. They've been around for a long time, so they've produced a great deal of material. When Bibi was a young man at the Boston Consulting Group, on to present day, cigars, champagne, and lots of other things. He's magnificent in the material generation department. So I am grateful to one Bibi Netanyahu. I will return briefly to Mr. Sachs and then wish you a beautiful day. So David Sachs, so 53 or 4-year-old uh, billionaire from PayPal and from other successful ventures that followed, South African gentleman and trusted Trump insider. Do I think that a billionaire is more or less likely to engage in corrupt acts? I was listening to a news program over the weekend, and I was shocked to hear somebody who was seemingly a sane human being that had a post secondary education suggest that these guys, they don't need to be corrupt. They're rich. They're a, Trump's a billionaire. What does he need corruption for? It really misses the point. It's it's the game. It's the accumulation of power that comes with money, money and influence. And it's for these guys. I mean, I've never held $1 billion in any account. It is. I would imagine that it is sort of a, uh, if not an aphrodisiac, then it can certainly change the way that your brain works because of the sense of entitlement. So where do you go for that next conquest? Where do you get a win when you already have $1 billion? In the case of the Trump family, the sons, the elder sons, Eric and Don Jr., are with the help of people like CZ, racking up billions of dollars of money from UAE and KSA, and they show no signs of slowing down. I am often guilty of not of forgetting that we're only 1 year into this adventure. So, with any luck in the midterms, we can whittle away at the excesses by having some oversight, as the GOP part of the legislature has shown zero appetite to investigate, question, look twice, or comment about any of the corrupt behavior that is right out in the open, airplanes and fun things like that. I just One final thing on Mr. Sachs is that if you have an AI crypto czar, the most important, the word that I always promise never to use again and use every single day, is the existential challenge facing our country, our economy, and you could argue humanity right now is AI. What will AI do in our universities, in our government, to employment? How many people will be lose their jobs because of AI? The next generation, our children and grandchildren, that are going to be on the market for a job. How many of those opportunities are going to be foreclosed because of advances in AI? All of these things. So you would think that the most important role that a czar could play in going into 2026 is to organize, develop initiatives that would deal with these extraordinarily challenging questions. How to retrain entire swaths of the labor market. We don't know the exact numbers now, but we know it's going to be an impact, a substantial impact. So how do we begin late, as we are now, to help individuals upskill and have a viable career to feed their families? But there's on another level, the career to be intellectually challenged, to have personal growth, to have self-respect, and all of the things that go along with either a job or a calling, however that hits you in your particular circumstances. But what AI will do is limit some of the lower level jobs in accounting, law, and financial services is going to be a massive impact. So all of these folks are going to need to do other things. Those opportunities will be eliminated going forward. So the labor market will shift. I believe that AI will provide new opportunities that we are not even aware of yet today. But until such time, and top line is, without a plan, nada. We're not being helpful at all. Let's just wait and see how it goes. That generally doesn't work. I would probably argue that let's just see if it turns out okay, is how we ended up with Donald Trump twice, right? So, in any case, wishing you all a beautiful day today. I am going to take a look at some of the other cabinet level folks in the Trump administration. Scott Bessent, right? Treasury, which, as you know, controls IRS. And Scott Bessent is ignoring rules in the agency that he controls, and some others. Some are fun. Marco Rubio's adventurism in the Caribbean is complicated on so many levels by his lifelong Fidel, not my daddy issues, the complications involved with the conservative movement among the South Florida Cuban community. And I had the pleasure of living in Miami for 2.5 decades. And so it was something that I got to enjoy up close and personal. But Marco Rubio, a very interesting character, and you, Pete Hegseth, what is going on down there, and what the pressure on the Trump administration regarding the uh, extrajudicial killings, murders of people that may be only fishing or smuggling small amounts of controlled substances, certainly does not justify the use of deadly force. And in instances where it can be shown that there's a risk to the United States sufficient to justify deadly force, there are hoops that one has to jump through to stay within the constraints of the Constitution, as far as getting War Powers Act, and Congress, of course, is asleep, but has a role in this. So they're just taking a little, not an everyday thing, but probably one a week, feature a cabinet secretary, or like Mr. Sachs, a cabinet level advisor to the president. So that'll be a bunch of fun. Fun for me because it allows me to dig in a little deeper on exactly the other members of the PayPal mafia. It's quite a distinguished group, and only my silly and absurd mind could go to Mel Gibson. In any case, much appreciated. Kindly restack and subscribe, and if you enjoy these should be short but a little bit longer videos, my video essays, then please share them. And share them off the platform, because if you have a YouTube presence, that would be great if you would do that. If you're on Facebook, if you're on X, Blue Sky, or any other platform where you can share such things, because the whole game is to get more people to take a look. I appreciate any comments. Suggestions. January will be another shift, because I will be doing a daily, whether it's AM or PM is yet to be determined, based on what my wife tells me to do. But yeah, so that'll be. There are good people out there doing similar things. Aaron Parnas and others. But when you've had the pleasure of being on the planet for more than 6 decades, you read some stuff, you hear some stuff, you learn some stuff. And right now, in particular, the fact that I had the pleasure of living in Venezuela, South America, in Miami, which arguably Central America at best, gives me a somewhat different perspective on things, and not shocked by corruption, but delighted by it in a way that shows my age, my love for absurdity, occasionally showing my ass, but trying to have fun at every turn. So again, thank you for checking in, and we will be back with you again at some point tomorrow. Have a great day.